everyone. Good evening. I'm Jasline here. I'm the Tactical Parenting Strategist. And today we are very honored to have Ms Teresa Wong for us. And today's topic is 5 keys to empowered parenting. So I hope everyone who is now on live here, please share with your friends, your sisters, your parents, anybody that you think that will benefit from this talk. And I'm really happy that you are here today. Okay, so start all the sharing right now. Okay, before we start, at least there's a few more minutes to go. So those people out there, please help us share with more people that can benefit from her wonderful sharing today. Okay. Okay, so before we actually start, I will introduce myself. I'm Jasline. I'm the Tactical Parenting Strategist. And follow me on Facebook because I have lots of value to give to parents out there. I have a lot of videos to give you more tips on parenting. All right. Okay, so follow me on Facebook. And later on, I also have YouTube videos. So I really hope that you can also subscribe to my YouTube. All right, which is perfect so that you can learn more from me. Right. And let's see Ms Teresa Wong. Okay, she's our hypnotherapist and she's a life coach. So you can find her on Facebook. You just type in Soulistic, Soulistic. Okay, then you can see her beautiful blue logo over there. And yes, you can connect to her through there, through Facebook. And she has a wonderful Instagram as well. Okay, so you just have to type Soulistic, Soulistic, and you can see a beautiful yellow logo over there. So Instagram. So please go to visit the Facebook and the Instagram to know more about her and connect with her, right? All right, for me, I have email, okay, parentingwithjasline@gmail.com. And I have this how to raise happy, amazing children using my simple 4-step ROLE system without the tears. So at the end of the Facebook Live, I'll be giving you the link so you can go to my online course, right? And I have free giveaways, so you can take down the details if you're able to. I will give you the discount to my full course, as well as parents who want to do healthy recipes, right? We'll give away free recipes. So there's a link here, https://bit.ly happy recipes. I will be putting the links later in the comments. So yeah, you just wait for me after the live to put the links over there. And then we also have free parenting course. Okay, so there are 3 things that I will give away today. So please stay tuned to the end of the live. Okay, so okay, I will then stop sharing over here. Okay, so I'm going to, hi Teresa, come on board. Let me introduce you.
Hi.
Yeah, so, hi.
Hi, Jasline.
Thank you so much for coming to our live show. And I'm going to introduce something about you. So Teresa is a rapid transformation therapy, short RTT, hypnotherapist and an entrepreneur. She's one of the first 2 RTT hypnotherapists in Singapore, trained and certified by Marisa Peers in London. And she has worked with clients from all around the world, not only in Singapore. So as an RTT hypnotherapist, she's able to create breakthroughs that achieve healing through hypnosis. This will actually help and free the clients from the blockages and the traumas. So the reason that she wants to share her experience is that a lot of us as parents, we have a certain expectations or the way we parent, but actually deep on our hearts, there are some baggages or some traumas that we had. And this actually causes the way we parent. And during the struggles with our children and as well as our parenting, we find that it's often it's the things that we do not actually realize. Okay, so we really want Teresa to really educate us as parents. Why are we doing certain things or why should we doing certain things? And I really appreciate her to tell us more about it today. Okay, so give her a 10 now to encourage her to give more sharing. Okay, Teresa, yeah, I will share the slides right now.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, then I will stop my video and
go into slide mode.
yes. Okay. Yeah.
So I would, so Jasline, you'll be helping me control the slides, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just say out here that today I'm really glad for all of you to be spending time with me today and Jasline to learn more about empowered parenting. And as Jasline has shared, a lot of the work that I do, I actually learn from my clients. So I won't be the one to say that, I'm the one to educate you, because you are the parents, you are the one who's dealing and facing your child daily. So I can only say that I can only share what I have learned through my clients, because a lot of them come to me with a lot of relationship challenges, personal growth challenges, especially when they are working with their spouse and working with their children. And that's where I learn a lot about their pain. They have a lot of unresolved pain. So when I'm working with them in the hypnosis state, basically as a hypnotherapist, my tool of healing and working with my clients is actually hypnosis. So hypnosis is a way of us arriving at a state of consciousness where our conscious mind is switched off. So basically our conscious mind is the one that is the thinking mind. And then we have our subconscious mind that is the emotional mind. And when we are in the hypnosis state, it becomes more alert, because very often in the society that we're in today, we really treasure a lot more analysis and thinking, and that we try to not acknowledge and give into our emotion. But very often, emotion is the one that gives insights to where we are at. And you'll be surprised that emotion is where we actually make a lot of our decisions. And I'll share more about that later. And when we are actually in the hypnosis state, our unconscious mind, which is the deep-seated, more instinctive force within us, is the one that will actually listen to the therapist. So we will, as therapists, look out for opportunities to reprogram negative patterns of behavior. So when we're talking about negative patterns of behavior, we're talking about irrational fear triggers. We're talking about addiction. We're talking about, compulsive behavior. So there's a lot of that work that can be done through hypnosis and hypnotherapy. So hypnotherapy has been proven, I have not really finished, hypnotherapy has been proven to treat a wide range of issues, especially when it comes to addiction, pain management, and all that. And usually when people come to hypnotherapy, they find themselves to be in a very relaxed state, able to focus and able to actually come into the sense of self. So yes, next slide, Jasline. Thank you. So I'm not giving you all the 5 key points immediately. So I'm starting with the first key point of empowered parenting. And here we're talking about expression. And very often as a parent, how often do you superimpose your own thoughts and fears and beliefs on your child versus allowing your child to express who they truly are? So in this case, like, for example, children who are very fearless, and parents are the one with a lot of fear. The children live with the present. They see a cute dog, it may be a stray dog, and they approach the dog, right? So what does a parent do? They think about rabbits, they think about the dog will maul the child, they think about the worst thing that could happen. Or when a child is very confident with themselves and they feel very comfortable with themselves, they go ahead and talk to strangers. And what is the worst thing that comes to the parent's mind, right? So parents often have their own fears and their own beliefs that they impose on their children, right? So Jasline, at this point, I actually welcome you to ask questions on each point so that we can actually expand and dive deeper into each of those key points.
All right. Okay. So you're saying whether I have any questions or anyone has any questions, they can write on the comments. Then I can revert back to you. All right. No problem. So you want to go to the next slide?
Yep, we can do that. Let's do that.
Okay. Can. Yeah.
Yep. So this point is about the parents. The parents is being triggered. right? And how often do you try and protect and hide your triggers, hide your own fears? And then how does when you're hiding your own fears, how do you express these fears? So in here, very often parents don't say it, right? But you're afraid of failure.
Yes.
You're afraid of rejection.
Definitely.
You're afraid of being disempowered, right? And then how does a parent express them, right? So for example, if a child come home and then they failed a subject, what's the worst thing that runs through the parent's mind? I'm a failed parent, right?
Yes. Or very embarrassed or ashamed.
Yeah, exactly, right? But is there time for you to think about the child? You know?
Oh,
So
for us.
exactly. So, and then how do you express this? Because you have been triggered by your child's inability to do well in school, right?
Yes, correct.
And then, and a lot of things will run through your mind. They fail, so the society will reject them, and then they are not going to be an empowered individual because they are a failure. But all these things is own parents' fear. So very often, the parents will do things in the name for the child, but they're actually doing it for themselves. And this is something that parents need to be aware of, because this is harmful for your child, because this is not about your child. This is about you. Right?
Yes. So at this point, I think I truly agree with Teresa on this, and it's about putting our fears into our children when we parent, and that's dangerous and it's not very healthy, right? So if those that have thinking that you have this value, please give our Ms Teresa and all the hearts and all the thumbs up. Okay, I think this is really great that sometimes when we do parent, we do not realize it ourselves, and I think it's great sharing over here. Yeah, Teresa. You want to go to the next slide?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Okay.
So this one is about control. Very often the parents think you are superior. You think that you know better, and then you want to control your child. And sometimes the parents feel that, especially those who feel that they are empowered to control somebody. I mean, honestly,
I do.
But yeah, like, how do you like being controlled, versus being empowered, right? And very often when I work with the parents, and sometimes parents don't like me very much when I give them the truth, and I ask them, I said, do you like to be parented by yourself? And then that will be a moment.
Ask ourselves this question first.
Yeah, is your style of parenting what you expect to be parented? Right?
So self-reflection, right?
Exactly. And very often the parents will be quite embarrassed to say that, yeah, I don't like to be told what to do. I said, then how do you like to be taught? Right? And then said, I like to be treated like a respectful individual and acknowledge that I may have a different way of approaching something. Right? So versus controlling. So it is about connecting and nurturing so that you have a bond with your children, because the children actually, what they crave is actually you being there for them. The child wants to feel safe, and they want to feel connected, and they want to feel that what they say has been acknowledged by you. So versus the controlling style of parenting, the child actually feels a lot of disconnection. They feel that I'm just somebody who is supposed to be puppeted, somebody who's been told what to do, and that's all I need to do, right?
Yes, I agree.
To earn safety and earn trust. Yeah.
Yes, I think especially this age where our children are, with adult technology, they really know much more than us. And I think you are really need to go down to their level where you connect with them using ways, that's why as a tactical parenting, I've been trying to tell parents about, to teach them, you have to be smart, and then you have to connect before they even listen to you. So I think, Teresa, you're absolutely right. I agree with you totally that it's not about controlling, it's about connecting, right? So I think the key word that we learn is connecting. Thank you so much. Yeah.
No problem. You go to the next slide.
Okay.
So this one is quite interesting. Many parents do have this, right? Whether they know it or they don't know it, a parent actually do have a list of how they want their child to behave, how they want their child to be perfect. And they will label the child, whether the child is good or bad, positive or negative. And they basically is letting the child know that you're not perfect and you're not good enough for me until you have done and met all my checklist of requirements, right?
Wow. Okay.
Right? So a lot of parents do this, like, exams, you definitely have to be top A student, or minimally B plus. If not, you cannot meet the checklist of being a good child. Or whether you are good at your piano, whether you are good at stage, you can sing, you can draw, you can do your maths properly. There's a whole list of checklists from the parents to label the child whether they are good enough. And the child knows, because then the child knows that, okay, in your language, when you actually talk to your child, you're actually letting your child know that this is not good enough for me. So you're not perfect. Then you have to earn my love. You have to earn anything you want to feel safe, feel trust, my support. And to be honest, to be living in the kind of environment, just knowing that I'm not good enough for my mom and I have to work for her approval. Reflect that upon yourself. How often do we now, even as grown-up adults, that we have to work for approval, whether we are deserving, right? And that's because of a lot of times when we're growing up, how often we're told that we're not good enough. How often that we're told that we have not met our parents' conditional checklist.
Okay, Teresa, at this point, I think this point is about having unconditional love for your child. I think I've covered it in one of my videos, whereby if you tell your child that, oh, I love you because you get this kind of marks for your English or maths, I think you're actually giving them this message. So I will urge the parents out there, is sometimes unconsciously you might say that. Okay, so I really hope that with today's sharing, okay, I think really give her all the hearts and all the thumbs up, because I think it's a point that as a professional like you're able to tell us this very important point about our child is we need to love them unconditionally. So it does not mean that they do certain grades or they do certain things well, then we say, yeah, I will love you. So we should tell them whenever we have a chance to. That is what we call unconditional love. Whether they did well for the test or whether they are not, they are still loved by us. So I think that's really, really important. Thank you, Teresa.
No problem.
Okay. Yep. Can we go to the next one?
Yep, let's do that.
Yes.
And the final point is actually about engagement. So very often we actually place pressure on our kids, whether consciously or unconsciously, on your child. And you may not realize it, because if you're not able to see it from your child's point of view, then you're not able to engage, to understand where they're coming from. So like the pressure of, results is always one thing, because we are all Asians and results is the number one thing, right? Yes, but there's also consciously and unconsciously placement. So like, for example, when a language of a parent, right, they say that, oh, look, only when you study well, then you can be rich. Yeah. Very often our parents will use words like this, or like most unkind, that if you don't study good enough, then you'll be cleaning people's toilets, right? So this become like unconsciously teaching your child certain things, certain values, instead of like the child may feel like, what, I can earn a lot of money from cleaning toilets. And allowing them to do that. I actually do personally know a person whose parents keep telling them that you go clean toilets, and they did build a very successful cleaning business from that.
Wow. Okay.
So there's no right, no wrong. But what the parent is doing is, again, back to the first point, they're projecting their own fear. They're projecting their own reality. The children's reality today is very different from the reality of our time, right? During those times when I'm growing up, my parents, my gosh, you're only a successful individual if you're a doctor, lawyer, accountant, yes, all that kind of list, right?
Now it's totally different.
Of course, now the list, the richest career is not the accountant anymore. The richest career is you're an entertainer. You do unboxing video on YouTube, you can be the richest child on earth, right? Yes. The reality is so different. and it's time for the parents to wake up that, you know, what they have learned in the past need to be updated. and
Yes, yes, yes.
and they have to see it from the child's point of view. You know, for some child, it basically is about their interest, which is their world of virtual reality, their world of being digital, online, social media. And you know what? As parents, they're not wasting their time, which a lot of
Okay.
parents think they are.
Okay, Teresa, I think please give Miss Teresa a thumbs up and all the hearts, and then give her a 10, because I think one of the very things that I want to add on is that we need to, like you said, seeing things from the child's point of view. And I think the other side of giving pressure, right? I would encourage parents to motivate and encourage and praise, because these are positive things, that when you're subconsciously doing it every day, like maybe once a day, or when the child does well in certain things, I will always advise parents to give praises, okay, and then the child will actually have more confidence. And then it's rather than giving pressure, maybe just give an example that you want to encourage your child to really do their best in the test. I think it's good that you say, well, you have done okay. If there are 16 marks, you feel that it's not good enough, I think you should praise them. Maybe you have done well in your you have been revising, and I think it's really good. But maybe you can actually aim higher. Maybe at this particular, give some solutions to your child as well. I will feel that the undue pressure is sometimes the child do not know the skills, right? You ask them to do well, but maybe they really have some skills that they do not know, like comprehension is something that they may not be having the maturity. So as a tactical parenting strategies, I will always tell parents to really know the child's problems, okay, be a problem solver rather than you judge or give unnecessary remarks, because children are still needing you to guide them. Okay, they are not you ask them to do well, they are able to, right? But you have to understand what their problems, like what I always say, knowing that weaknesses, their strengths, and you as a parent, you know exactly how to help them and overcome them. And then through that, your bonding actually gets strengthened. And whatever you say, it will be so easy to achieve. That's my experience to share with everybody out there. So I really think that you have got the really important point. Pressure is opposite of it, is actually giving a lot of praise, a lot of encouragement, and helping the child to do their best. That's what I feel, right?
I think what you have also raised there is a very good point. It's actually about acknowledgement. And it's actually about acknowledging the child for the effort, their thought process, their thinking, and their ability to analyze the situation. So basically just acknowledging them for whatever effort and for whatever they've gone through. Very often when it comes to, say, exams, and this is somehow exams come up because it is, for a lot of Asian parents, that's always the number one headache. They always feel that they judge their child whether their child will have a good future based on their results, right? And sometimes it's just good for the child to come back to say that, okay, I acknowledge that I didn't work hard enough, or I missed certain topics, or they have gone through certain analysis about what they missed, and that itself is also worth acknowledging. I'm not a person who really believe in praising for the sake of praising, because that's when we raise mediocrity, and very often children becomes entitled because knowing that their parents are there to praise them. So I think the praise here, I will look at it from an acknowledgement perspective. Like, I acknowledge you for the work that you have put in, the effort that you have put in. I acknowledge that you actually made an effort here. So I think that's actually very important. So you raise a really good point in recognizing that.
Yes, I totally agree with you, and I really want every audience here. Really, I think we are getting really very good 5 key points. And please give Miss Teresa all the hearts and all the thumbs up, okay? And then whoever wants more value from her, please give her a 10, so she's able to give us more tips. I'm sure Miss Teresa has more things to share with us, right?
So yeah, in the next slide, left something. I said, other things for us to think about is that how are you influencing your child's belief system? Very often when I actually meet with a lot of adults, and where I know that parenting somehow has been really tough on them. So it's like I have a lot of women who cannot stop being focused on their looks. right? Because their parents have told them that as a child or as a girl, make sure that you're good looking enough to ensure that you find a good looking husband, you'll find your prince, and then you are assured of a good life.
Live happily ever after, is it?
Live happily after, right? The fairy tale. And that itself is influencing the belief system. So I don't blame why we have a thriving aesthetic, the aesthetic industry, right?
Yeah.
Is doing so well, Botoxing, and then silicone injections and all that, right? Because the parents have been changing the child's belief system. I also have a lot of clients when they come and they talk about abundance. And it's quite interesting. I recently had a client who talked about when they were growing up, the parents always tell them, said, look, the person is so rich, but they're not generous. So what does that mean? Like rich and not generous means that, means if I'm rich, I have to be generous, means I have to give everything away. So the person start developing very conflicting belief system inside them. And they don't understand why is it that every time they have money, they want to give it away, and then they wonder why they're not rich, for example, right? So these are some of the things that we need to be familiar with. Also, the other thing as parent is to be aware of the environment that your child is given to grow, try, fail, and succeed. This is an example I had when a parent was complaining to me how the child is not focused and not studying. And then at the same time, she said that she has a decluttering problem, that she cannot, she has problem letting things go, and the house is a mess, and that there isn't space even for her child to study. And then I looked at her and said, but you just told me your child is not able to focus and it is his fault.
Understand. So
right?
we must be aware of the kind of environment we are actually giving them as well, whether we give them the chance to fail, but encourage them to fall, but come back again. That's why I also agree with you, is that we sometimes must let our child fail sometimes, but we give them some good solutions. I feel that parents still should give some guidance, in a way, let them learn, but let them fail as well. And yes, encourage them to just try. I think that's important, especially now climate, we need to embrace changes, and there are challenges, whether it's the environment we are in, like the COVID-19 is a good example. It came to us very suddenly, and whether it's adults or children, we are not need to adapt.
Yeah, and you're totally right. The failure, to me, actually, when I was studying psychology, one of the first things that I've learned is that for a person to mature and to gain confidence is actually overcoming failure. And if they are not given an opportunity to learn, to solve a problem, not given a chance to overcome something, and the parent is always stepping in and always there to assist, the child will not have the confidence to be able to face a lot more problems and take on more challenges and take on more accountability. And then that equates to maturity. So it is actually very important to allow the child to fail, allow the child to suffer certain things of setback, so that they are aware that they actually know where their inner strength is in overcoming something, that they actually have the intelligence and they actually have the ability and capability to do something. I mean, when I was working with one of my clients, she always thought she was a failure because her parent, this is a Japanese client where the parents have never acknowledged her for any success. So no matter how rich she is, no matter how successful she is, she just didn't get the acknowledgement. And then when I regressed her to her past to try and help her remember that there is a certain level of empowerment within her, she was able to recall a story that she was lost at 3 years old. She was lost, and of course the parents is freaking out, but she was able to find a policeman at 3 years old and tell the police that she's lost and ask the police to help her.
Wow.
So just based on that point alone, it shifted her and transformed her, that she doesn't feel so disempowered anymore. So this is, I mean, very often we forgot how powerful we are. And so as parents, when we are able to allow our child to fail and allow them to overcome those failure, it is actually very empowering, and it actually allows your child to feel so much more confident about themselves.
Yes, I totally agree. Suddenly came there's this phrase, behind every success is a series of failures. So I think without failures, I think is the success word doesn't come out. So for parents out there who really want your child to succeed, give them chance to fail, try again, and when they really achieve it, I think you all should celebrate it. That's what I want to add on to Ms. Teresa's sharing. Okay, very valuable, and I think it's really to the point. These are the two very important points to influencing your child's belief system and the environment that we need to understand how we want them to be to reach to where they want to. So we ourselves have to reflect and then know how we can help the child as well. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, very very good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think. Let me see whether there's any more questions. Okay, and I think we really want to thank Miss Teresa for spending her valuable time with us. And then I really received very, very good tips from her. And I really want to thank her for her valuable time. And yeah, so, okay, I'm very happy. And then I will put in all the free giveaways because you have been such good audience. And yeah, so see you next time. Thank you. Yeah.
You.
Thank you. Bye bye. Yeah.